Hey, so Adam Collins from Ignite SEO here. In this video, as promised, I'm going to show you how to set up just a simple app in Lovable, how to connect it to Supabase, how to connect it to GitHub, and then maybe have a look at Cursor as well. To be clear, I'm not going to be building a whole app here. I'm just giving you some ideas of how to go through some of the setup and for you to be able to see some of the bugs and issues that I have with doing this and how we solve them, because fundamentally that is going to provide you a lot of value. But this is definitely not I'm going to build an app from scratch type tutorial. So I had the idea, I was having a look at ChatGPT, I was asking for some ideas for my agency or to do this video, and it came up with a campaign tracker lite, best balance of impact and simplicity. Create clients, link projects, simple task board, etc. Why it works, every SEO agency does with too many docs, lovable scope, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So I've got this idea, so I was like, make me like a prompt engineer. I have a sec. I need a simple, clear set of prompts, instructions. Let's see what it comes back with. Purpose: build a lower internal web app to help SEO agencies track client campaigns, monthly deliverables, core requirements, simple task board, monthly deliverable tracker, export options, etc. So we're definitely not going to build all this in, but I'm just giving you some ideas. Now the interesting thing is Lovable will have a good attempt at building some of that stuff in, but half of it won't work or it won't save, and etc. So it's great at building a lot of it there, but you kind of will have to go in and try and figure this stuff out. So I've grabbed that. I'm just going to put it in here. With Lovable, I would probably recommend going on pricing. You don't need to be on that package. Don't worry about that. $25 per month would probably do for now. All of your existing projects are down here under My Lovable, where you can remix existing projects to work on different ones, etc. You can go in here, you can upload Figma, connect to databases, attach information, etc. But let's start with this. So that's going ahead and loading. Why it does that, let me run you through some of this stuff. So you've got the preview up here, you've got the code. So this is where all of your files will be kept. Now, if you know a little bit of development, or even if you want to get a developer involved in the project to fix things, you can do that. There's Lovable Cloud. Now, basically, what Lovable Cloud is, it's like a streamlined, Lovable version of databases and backend, which is great, right? Really good for lightweight projects, probably would be good for this project. I'm not going to enable this, and the reason for that is, even though I'm going to say build a login screen, I want you guys to see Supabase and how to connect it, because Supabase is going to give you a lot more scalability. You're going to have to pay a little bit for it, but it's going to give you a lot more scalability. This is dead easy to use. If you want to use Lovable Cloud, just enable Lovable Cloud, but as I said, I'd show you how to use Supabase, so that's obviously what I will do. You can see up here, manage Supabase, sync project with GitHub, publish, and even, you can see the URLs up here. So I'll build a clean, blah, 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 blah. Right, so interested. So first versions, dashboard, designers, let me enable Global Cloud. So I'm going to say we do not want to, actually, no, can I decline that? Decline. So I don't need to do that. Now, remember, every time you're communicating with Lovable, you're going to be using credits. So Lovable Chat, I think, uses less credits. Only if there's a big response it will use a credit, but for short questions I don't think it will be too aggressive on credits. Lovable Chat's very good for especially if you use the dictation feature, coming up with some ideas and saying create this, using then chat and saying create this into a plan, and it will then go and create a plan based on your chat, and you'll save a lot of time doing that. It's actually better, I think, with Lovable to try and do more in one go rather than do one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. I actually think it's probably works better doing it a lot in one go, and then refining things rather than doing now build the search function, now build this, now build that. That's all fine, but I found that actually works better sometimes with that. What I want to show you quickly is if you click on this little plus, go to project settings, you can see things here. You can set up custom domains, all the rest of it. Connect to Supabase, connect to GitHub, your account, plans. But what I wanted to show you is just this knowledge. Now, these are instructions and guidelines for the whole project to work from. So specific best practices, coding styles, naming conventions, external documentations, and style guides. So in the talk which I gave, I said about creating a style guide and actually having that sit on the site. Like, this is a great place to put that. And what you can actually do is you could ask this and be like, create these on custom instructions, and that would give it. So again, for this, I'm not going to go that far, but that's a great example of how you could use instructions and guidelines to keep a level of consistency through your project. There's some really, really good documentation as well. There's some really good YouTube videos which they've done on how to create certain tools, etc. So I'd probably recommend checking that out as well. The Figma to Lovable, I think, is pretty powerful. I would definitely watch how to set this up, where we can, hire a UX designer, say on Figma, connect up to Lovable. Once you've signed that off, and you'll be able to create that using that. Has this done yet? Okay, this is still editing. I'm going to pause this just for now, and we can pick it up once it finishes. Okay, so as you can see by the time, that actually took quite a while, and that's one of the things I was saying was like when you're using Lovable, the prompts can take a long time. So even though it's going to speed things up quite a bit using tools like Lovable, like you spend a lot of time like twiddling your fingers and thumbs. So be thinking about like what the next prompts are, what things you need to still implement, maybe connected to other things, because otherwise you can go a bit crazy, because you can sit for a long period of time, especially when you're trying to fix these bugs and they don't fix, and each time you've got like a 5-minute wait or a 10-minute wait. Lovable at different times can work faster as well. So I don't know whether it's like to do with their server or whatever, but looks like we've got something here. So I'm going to load this up here. And we can see campaign tracker, no projects added. So we can't select any clients. Let's add Nazio. All right, let's see if that works. This is a really interesting thing about Lovable. Okay, so oftentimes it will build things. You're like, oh, great, it's built that functionality in, but actually it doesn't work. It just looks like it's like built the UI. So at the minute though, we've got a nice layout here. Let's will that work. So client added successfully. So if I refresh this, but again, oh, awesome. So it actually has, did that do that? Oh yeah, so actually it is adding these clients, which is interesting. I'm curious how it's saving that data. But anyway, that's so we've got some stuff there. So great. Let's have a look at some of the other stuff. Let's look at connecting this. Actually, let me show you this edit tool. So sometimes for smaller edits, this is a really, really great tool. So let's say we just want to edit this. We don't want to do a whole prompt. We can be very, very specific. Let's change this and say, change the button to, no, actually change the button to, I don't know, B. Let's see. But you can be very, very targeted with the changes. So like changing text, changing colors, etc. Let's see what that runs. Let's just turn this back off. Ah, awesome. So it looks like was that how it was? Yeah, I think that has done, hasn't it? Yeah, awesome. So you can see that there. And again, we can just come in here, refresh this. Sometimes these take a little bit longer. Sometimes it is actually easier just to like refresh and then upload here. Yeah, interesting. So you can see actually our caching issues sometimes with this. It will have done. Again, I'm not going to spend ages trying to refresh this, but that's interesting as well. So just keep that in mind when you're working on things. Yeah, so there's obviously some caching things going on there, which you might want to ask and be like, right, what is that? But let's leave it for now. It's not the purpose of this, but it is interesting to look at, right, as to like why that's delayed. But let's crack on. So I just wanted to have a look at Supabase. So we click here. Supabase is really now managed Super project from the cloud tab on the left. Okay, cool. So cloud. Already have a Supabase project. Now, this cloud thing is AI models out of the box, so built-in database. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad and the LLM to your app, powerful AI models. Now, this cloud would potentially be great. I haven't read enough about it. It's not how I built my dashboards. So yeah, there's probably a lot in here, but I'm going to just show you how to do the Supabase thing anyway. So click connect here. You can add a new organization if you want to. Continue. Now I already have a project in Ignite SEO, so I'm going to create a new project, and we're going to call this, what we're going to call it. I can't even remember what it does. Was it campaign tracker or whatever? Project name, so let's call it campaign. And again, you can figure these things out based on all that type of stuff. We'll pop this in. Obviously, I'll change it afterwards. Let's do UK if we can. Additional cost £10 per month. Yeah, I mean, I don't talk $10 per month. I really don't need. I'm not that bothered. I can always cancel it. Awesome. So let's just pause this. Okay, so we've got our API keys here, etc. I'm going to delete this project by the time I send it to you, so it's no biggie about you being able to see this stuff anyway, or I'll blur it out. So that is being set up, so it's still setting up the project here. If I go back to here, interesting, check project status in Supabase. So it might take a few minutes to load. Okay, looks like it's done. So you can actually see here like the table editor. We can manage tables. We can literally upload SQL. We can handle authentication. We can even do things like sign-ins, like Google Auth sign-in. Down here, you can see the different like login with Google Auth, so you can go through that whole process of setting that up. Two-factor authentication, edge functions, logs, reports, API docs, all the rest of it. Like honestly, there's so much you can do here. And the good thing is Lovable connects with it really, really easy. And there's some really big projects managed on Supabase, so which is awesome. So we can actually connect that now to Campaign Tracker. Let's connect. All right, your app is now connected. Okay, great. Really important. Before you deploy the app, the production, you need to review an appropriate RLS project, how about that, give up building, etc. If you plan to have users log in, we highly recommend setting up authentication first before doing it. Okay, so why is that doing that? Build errors, no Supabase directory. Okay, let's just try and fix that. I don't know why that was the case, but let's see if it can fix that. Let's go back over to here. Has it created any tables? No. Right, let me pause this. Okay, so not sure what that was, but anyway, let's have a look at what we should do next. Okay, so I'm just asking the ChatGPT to help me create the prompts. I'm going to say use this font for fonts moving forward, and things action now. Oops. Right. And what I'm going to then do is, once that's done, right. So what I can then do is I can say so my, what's it called, tracker, what did we call it, campaign tracker, it's hidden behind screen, or is that for this also for, yeah, that would do for now. So using ChatGPT is a great way of like getting the prompt structures correct, and definitely read what it's giving you. But it is a great way. You can also go into Lovable and use the chat, but I quite like actually like training a ChatGPT on this. You can actually create a project, and once we've pushed to GitHub, you could grab the files and actually upload the file or the zip into the project. And again, it's a really great way of it being able to like look through the code and suggest fixes maybe where Lovable's struggling to do that. So let's see how we're getting on. I'll pause this until it's done. Okay, looks like we're getting there. So context, what problem are you trying to solve? Agencies need campaign tracker hidden behind authentication. Goal, login registration, etc. Limits, keep the existing campaign tracker model. success. How you know it works. Okay, cool. Now it's going to start writing all this SQL for you. Genuinely, I would allow Lovable to do that. Now you could upload it to the chat, but I feel like this is pretty to the point, so we can upload that directly into Lovable. But you could say the same thing to the chat and say, look, create me this, use this context, and all the rest of it. But there's not really a big requirement for that. So let's see how Lovable gets on with that. I'm just going to pause this while it loads. Okay, so it looks like we've got something back. So first thing you ask, do you want to store the additional user profile data like name, user preferences? This help me decide how to create profile. So yeah, I want to do that. Now it's going to ask you, so really important to know, Lovable will like keep version control as it goes, but Supabase and the database won't, because obviously it's an external system. So this is going to give you like prompts like, oh, you know, update this table, add this to Supabase. If you do that, that's fine. But then you have to know that if you go back in time with the version control on this to like an older date, then you're going to need to ask Lovable to like say, look, I've gone back to this, you know, I've restored this old one. You need to go and rewind back the changes to the database, because otherwise what might happen is you might make all these changes to the database, but you rewind the code back and then the database isn't rewound back. It's got the new structure and it can cause your project to basically break. Let's see how it gets on. And you can actually see as it's working through. But let me pause a second while it carries on. The really cool thing about Lovable is actually you'll be able to see the changes as they're happening, which I think is always really cool. So like it hasn't even finished it now, and now it's got a login screen, it's got a sign up screen. It's all really, really cool. But it's still actually running. I just want to take you through the table editor. So in here, for example, you can now see it's added clients, it's added deliverables, notes, organization members, organizations, profiles, projects. You know, it's got all of the correct table structure, it's got tasks, it's got user roles, really, really cool. So I just want to show you actually how it goes about actually building this. But yeah, it's very, very impressive. You can go to database view and like look at the time it would have took you to actually create this, you know, figure out all of the different database tables and all the rest of it. You know, it just took a long time. So it's definitely a time saver. Still running, so I'm going to pause it again rather than bore you. But you can see obviously Lovable trying to fix these things as it goes. With that, it's finally done. So let's have a look. So implement the core authentication, organization roles, authentication, organization management, manage dashboards, protected routes, still need updating taskable component, etc. So that's fine. As now you can sign up, create an organization, add clients, etc. So if I went to sign up, it's probably going to try. The thing is, there's not any. So you can use what's called resend to handle all of the emails. But let's see. Let's do yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter, does it? Actually, let's do. Right. Account created. So let's head over to here. Go to table editor, and if we go to clients. Oh, there we go. Profiles, there we go. So it's giving me an ID, email, display name, create app. So let's try and log in. It says email not confirmed. Ah, interesting. So at the minute it is sending me an email via Supabase. So it's just basically saying confirm your mail. So I'm just going to confirm that. But you can use resend to be able to handle that. Now, I've got an invalid token, signature invalid. So what I would say here is I would then go investigate this and ensure you fix this bug, for example. So it's like using some of that terminology is like quite important. I'm going to see if I can fix this once. Let me see if it will. Awesome. So actually, I can stop that. Now, there is a bug there which needs to be fixed. But for whatever reason, it said there's a bug, but it has actually done that. So let me go and add my agency or organization. Failed to create organization. Okay. So, again, you could go through and create these prompts, right? But let's just for now be, and I want to, I get it, it's not, I don't want this video to be hours long. I can't seem to, let's see. So again, we've got all the information in there. Be interesting to see how this populates out. Okay, so it's found the issue. It's saying that we need to fix the RLS issue. So, and you can see here, modifying the database. The issue is that users can't add themselves members because the policies require them to already be owners. So again, we can, fingers crossed, go ahead and fix that. And it should then work. Fixed the issues with that. So again, it will give you some recommendations of things you do here, but again, I'm not going to do that. So let's refresh. Let's see. Interesting. So failed to create organization. So I've just put the error, the same error persists. Investigate thoroughly to find the exact root cause. Double change and methodically re-examine the entire flow, which is a really good way of actually getting it to fix it. So hopefully we'll be able to fix it. This is what I meant in the talk. If any of you watched the talk where I said about this being infuriating, because sometimes you run into these issues and you can actually see here, like I'm pausing this, like it can be a little bit time consuming. So it is good you being able to see this because it's not all great. So you kind of, one of the things I found is that you have to kind of block out like a number of hours to like really go at this, but you'll get to a stage where you get really in the flow and you'll be able to do like a week's worth of work in like 2 hours, and then you'll have other days where it could be quite frustrating. To be honest, is one of the reasons I'm so sort of adamant about moving to Cursor. Once you've got a lot of the UI implemented and a lot of the database type stuff, bring it into Cursor, do the changes. You'll be able to work at like 10x speed. You'll be able to work on much smaller changes faster. Rather than this, I would work on much larger changes and it taking a little bit slower. So again, you can see actually how long this is. This can take to run. So I'll pause it again. So I've traced the exact failure. The insert was denied because return representation triggered a select. It says it's been fixed. Okay, has it been fixed? And it looks like it's been fixed. Let's have a look. Oh, I actually did that. I think I did fix it. So yeah, cool. So it's created the Ignite SEO organization, and then I should be able to add clients in here. Amazing. We've got clients, got projects. Again, I'm not going to, so I can add a project to here. Let's do a project. Awesome. We've got this here, a few details. Right, campaign progress. There's to-do lists. So fix puzzles. Task added. Okay, awesome. You know, these are, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So you can actually see that this is done, and we can then move things across, move them across, and yeah, so we can, one last one, I'll say, let me upload a screenshot of this to ChatGPT. Okay, so we've got this back. Let me see. Is this going to finish anytime soon? Fingers crossed. Okay, no, be fine again. We're not building right properly. So I believe that this campaign progress is broke. I'm assuming that should say, 100%. Even when I refresh, it's not there. Deliverables, even, it's pretty cool. Notes. You can quickly see how you can build these platforms with a little bit of patience and a little bit of sort of thinking forward. So again, because I don't know how long this is going to take, I'm going to pause this and let's see how it gets on. Okay, so this is really interesting. So it's found the issue. So basically it was using local storage rather than using the database, which we've set up to keep track of these tasks. So in theory, once we've added this, so if that's there now, and then has that, there we go. So there we go, we got it working. And I'm sure we can see that over here as well if we logged in again. Awesome. Project is moving forward. So that's really, really cool. Again, I'm not sure how this works, but that's enough from, I think, setting up Lovable and Supabase. So I'm happy with my project. I now want to sort GitHub out. So click connect with GitHub, connect project, connect to my organization. You're moving only instance of this project, and this was not long ago. You must remain there to keep it long. Yep. Okay, so it's created that. When I go over to GitHub, I can actually see Campaign Craft Lite. It's created. It's in private. It's got everything here. It's pushed all of that stuff, which is epic. And if I can even clone the repository, etc. So that is now connected up to GitHub as well. So say I wanted to go back and restore something, you can literally just come up here and you can click restore. Or you can also go into history here and see all of the old, the changes that we've been doing as well. So if we go back to when we did the pill, you can actually see that. So it's really easy to restore things back. But that is pretty much it. What I would say is, in regards to setting up Lovable, oops, where is that gone? There we go. What I would say is you need to remember to publish. You can publish here. It has security recommendations here to be able to make sure that's correct. And again, you can set up custom domains, which I'm not going to go into here, but it's pretty simple to do. To add existing domains or purchase new domains here. So that's like end-to-end how I would create this project. And yeah, any questions, do let me know below and I'll try and help best I can. And I'll do another video potentially later today or tomorrow on how to connect it up to Cursor. Cheers.